Thank you. So yeah, this is very interesting for me to be at Expo West in such an awesome position. We've been coming to the show, I think, 13 years. The company is now 12 years old. And, I'm usually the one like rolling around in the van outside trying to get stuff through the doors instead of paying the union workers. So it's a big deal because today I come to you and the company that I started is the #1 organic baby food brand in the country. And thank you. And that's awesome. But what's more awesome in my mind is the spirit of entrepreneurship that's gotten us there. And what I wanted to do was share my story with the company, but really focus on mission. Because I feel like we're talking about authenticity and storytelling. Let's really focus on how the mission has always kind of been the North Star from where we got started to where we are today, and how it will continue to guide us into the future. So just to give you a little background on me, that's my family, that's my dad, and my mother and brother, and the little baby, that's not so cute. But we immigrated to America when I was 3. My parents were immigrants and entrepreneurs. My dad was absolutely in love with America. And he had this really awesome voice, and he would say a few things to me, and one of them was, Shazi, in America, anything is possible. And that's the days in Fultondale, Alabama, where I grew up. I spent 8 years there, in the first 8 years of my life in America. You can't really see it, but there's 2 motel rooms, 123 and 125, and that's where we lived. And the thing is, I'm getting emotional, sorry, but my dad would say, Shazi, and this is his voice, Shazi, you are a lion. And he's from Africa. He was a truck driver in the mountains of Kilimanjaro, dirt floors his entire life, same with my mom. And they brought us here to have this better opportunity, right, to change for us. And that was their mission. And I'll tell you, I've been to Columbia Business School, I've been around the block, I'm on the board of Columbia Business School now, which is really kind of fun, but I have never learned as much from business people as I did from watching my mom and dad struggle as entrepreneurs and make it happen because they had a mission, and that was sitting on their laps right there. So let me just jump back, but the other thing they would say is if you want to have a dream, a big dream, then you have to dream big. And so this was my dream. This is a slide I showed about 10 years ago when I was fundraising. But the idea was that I saw this really big crisis, right, with children's health in our country, where for some reason, our kids are getting sicker and sicker and living shorter lives than we are. And at the heart of it was the diet. And what I saw was this opportunity to really change the way we started them out in life with food that was fresh and organic and not hyper-processed. And I had this idea that I was going to revolutionize baby food, change the world, and do that by finding the alternative to the jar, which is ironic, and I'll get there. And that is really what crystallized my mission. My mission was change the way children are fed in this country. And the reason that is so important, and I know for all of you, especially those of you entrepreneurs out there who are starting something and creating something from nothing, that is really fucking hard to do. And I'm sorry, I curse a lot. I'm gonna try to keep it to a minimum today. But yeah, having a mission doesn't make it easier to do what you've got to do. But what it does is it gets people on your team who believe in you and believe in the mission to get through the hard times. Because there have been so many hard times. And I come in here, rolling up to Expo West now, I'm super rich, I have pajamas on, I don't really give a fuck. But I'm telling you, we used to be broke. My husband and I used to live in this basement apartment in Jersey City that had 0 windows to the street. Our son was born there. That was just 7 years ago. We didn't have enough money to pay payroll. My mom, who ran a gas station, not a motel anymore, a gas station, would put our payroll on her credit card. You're talking about like 22% interest rate. We made it through the financial crisis, and I, shockingly, was always trying to raise money because I had this dream to change the way children are fed in our country. And when we first launched, the dream was, okay, think outside the jar. We've got to figure out what is the next best alternative to the jar. And for us, at the time, it was obvious, frozen baby food. And so I remember doing like my first demo in Whole Foods, maybe like 3 weeks after we launched, May of 2006, and thinking like, we gotta get the fuck out of the freezer, because we are not gonna change the way children are fed in the freezer. We just couldn't change the consumer behavior. Moms didn't know there was something for baby in the freezer. And so we started innovating. And we're, again, always raising money, always broke, but we launched the first ever probiotic cereal for a baby. First ever probiotic food for baby, really focusing on gut health and seeding healthy guts from the start. We launched the first ever gluten-free puff snacks, the first ever freeze-dried yogurt melts, which are delicious. They're almost like incredible organic little astronaut ice creams, but they're made of yogurt. And we started making some traction, but we were always running out of money. And the thing that I'm going to talk about today is that your business model can change, but if you stay true to your mission, you'll be surprised at what you can accomplish. And what I wanted to do was just pick 3 seemingly random things to kind of illustrate how our mission has evolved and changed and adapted to this new way of doing business, but we've always stayed very true to that mission. So I'm going to talk about 3 things: a truck, a book, and an email. I know it's random, but I need something to ground me. So, the truck, I know this is just, it's an ice cream truck that's painted with our branding. In 2009, we probably had, $49,000 of credit card debt. I opened up a new Amex, and I had to convince everyone that I was going to buy this truck because we needed to change consumer behavior, and rather than doing demos in the stores and waiting for moms to come to us, we need to go where the moms and the kids were. And so I had this dream, and we're going to have a truck, and we're going to get kids and parents as excited about fresh organic food as they could be about ice cream. And even my husband, who's always our biggest fan and director of enthusiasm, thought I was absolutely batshit crazy because we didn't have the money for this, but we also didn't have money for marketing, and we had to do something. And I just saw this as a symbol of a new way the world was going to go, and no one else saw it. But anyway, we got the truck, and the people on the team started believing it. I forced people to drive around. I drove around. It lived in front of our apartment in Jersey City. We got a lot of tickets. And one day I applied for a very random competition, and someone noticed the purity of purpose in the way that I described the business and what I was trying to do. And it happened to be American Express. And they ended up filming 3 commercials. One was just about us. I'm not showing you that one. That one was spectacular. It told our entire story. And our business went from being absolutely underfunded and on the verge of bankruptcy to being well-funded and thriving overnight. It was sort of like an Oprah moment. But the one I'm going to show you just highlights that when you see something, and sometimes other people don't see it, it doesn't mean you shouldn't go for it. And I just want you to watch the video and see if you can pick out the truck.
Every story needs a hero we can all root for, who beats the odds and comes out on top. But this isn't just a Hollywood storyline. It's happening every day all across America. Every time a storefront opens, or the midnight oil is burned, or when someone chases a dream, not just a dollar. They are small business owners. So if you want to root for a real hero, support small business. Shop small.
I don't know, it kind of still gives me goosebumps, but I hope you liked it. The thing is, after that, our story was really amplified. And Amex ended up putting $50 million of media behind the commercial that actually was about us. And you can look it up online. It's just about us and our story. But it made it a lot easier for me to raise money after that. And I was actually on the verge of taking a really shitty term sheet from a really not nice VC with a 3x liquidation preference. And I was so desperate because we had finally found the alternative to the jar, which is that pouch. And I was about to sign it. And then Amex told us they were going to put all this money behind that commercial. And I was then able to raise $8 million in 3 weeks from the right people who believed in me, the mission, the vision, and took the money, made the investment at our terms, which ended up making all the difference. The next thing is the book. So, I'm a parent. I have 2 children. My son is 8 now. My daughter Asha is almost 2. And this was 2012. 2016. So this is just 2 years ago. I was on a panel for AOL Build, which is kind of a big deal. And it was about working motherhood. And it was with 2 very, very highly regarded professional women. I won't say their names, but you guys can go back and watch the panel. I got really emotional, as I tend to, because the panel was about how hard it is to be a working mom. And the moderator had written this book, and she asked each one of us, what is your shitty mom moment? And this was an era, this is only 3 years ago, right? This is an era where a lot of us moms feel guilty about stuff. And I found it really difficult to be a part of the conversation. And if you watch the video, you'll see me very candidly react and start crying. But so she asks famous mom A and famous mom B what their shitty moments were. And it comes to me, and I got emotional. I'm pregnant with my daughter, Asha. It was a really tough pregnancy. I have a son with autism. So it's not like my life is all sunshine and rainbows. And she asked, what is your shitty mom moment? And I said, I can't do this. I'm not a shitty mom. I'm an awesome fucking mom. I kill for my kids. And, I don't want anybody to ever feel the way that I felt on that stage. And when I realized that, this is how your mission guides you as you grow. We're already almost a $200 million company at this size. But someone asked me something, and I recognized, part of Happy Family's mission, when it's to change the way children are fed in our country, it's also about voice, and it's also about our responsibility to do that in a way that feels right to us and feels good. And from that moment on, I was not going to talk about guilt, and I was not going to feed into that. And I realized that it was our job to really show people how great they're doing, especially parents who are all struggling. And with the success of having a platform comes responsibility. And so, there's another book. This is our cookbook. If it's my dream that everybody makes their own fresh, organic baby food from products that they bought at the farmer's market locally. And we all want to be the very best parents to our children, and we want to do the very best. But at Happy Family, part of who we are is we just want to be there to support you through your journey. And if you want to make homemade baby food, here are our recipes. Go to town. I'm right there with you, rooting for you. If you can't or don't have the time, here are products that you can feel good about. And they're touchy subjects like breastfeeding. I breastfed my son for almost 3 years. With Asha, at 3.5 months, she just wasn't having it anymore. These are touchy subjects. And I decided that we were going to actually have a stance and a voice rather than just be a company that sells products. And so I'm going to show you another video of kind of an example of how the mission helped define our voice in that critical moment when I was asked about being a shitty mom.
It's hard to believe it's possible to know everything and nothing at exactly the same time. But before you know it, you do. It's natural, but it isn't easy. It's built in, but it still takes a lot of work. A lot of work. And just when you think you have a plan, it changes. And no one tells you how hard it is to change, to embrace that plan D, that plan E, that plan F, or that you can, that you will, that no matter what, you will. Because there are so many ways to do this right, and no plan, no list, no thing means as much as this.
See what I mean? Thanks. I guess just like a voice evolves over time, I think one of the things that all of you really need to keep top of mind is that, as you become more successful and as your products do actually get traction, that doesn't mean you're done. You have to constantly be evolving and improving them. And for us, actually, the pouches, which did become the alternative to the jar and has become a really meaningful part of our business, there's still work to be done. And so this is just within the last 2 years also, we realized that what we weren't doing was being fully transparent with parents. They couldn't actually see exactly how much of what was in a pouch. And we thought, okay, well, we're going to be the first to change that. We're going to be fully transparent. And when I say fully transparent, I mean fully transparent, like you can see through the packaging. On the back, you can read exactly what recipe is inside. And you can go, and there's a website called Happy Farms where you can meet the farmers who grew the products that are inside the pouch. And the reason I bring this up is that it was great for us because we were able to bring a premium back to what was a commoditized category, kind of like a Sir Kensington's. And now pouches are everywhere, which is amazing. And the thing is, there's always room for improvement, and there's always room to take it to the next level and set a new bar. And I think that with Clearly Crafted, we've done that. And I realize that I'm not just a person who talks about products. I just want you to see this is mostly my daughter Asha and Zayn, but these are my kids. And I think of myself as pretty sophisticated in the world of food and organics. I just joined the board of Environmental Working Group to make sure I protect our children from chemical exposure. I'm doing everything that I can, and I feel good that my children, my babies, are growing up on our food. And to me, you talk about storytelling, but you can't get more authentic than that. Because we all want the very, very best for our children. So now I'm going to get to that email. Bear with me while I read it and get the tissue out for the end. I don't know if you guys can see the picture, but see, that's a little finger. See the little baby holding the finger? Anyway, okay. This is from a woman named Amy to me in February 10th, 2011. Dear Happy Baby Food Company, I'm writing you this letter to thank you for your product and share a little bit about why I'm so thrilled. Almost a year ago, I gave birth to a 24-week premature baby named Avery. He weighed a mere 1 pound, 5 ounce at birth and just 12 inches long. He was born 16 weeks premature and given a 90% chance to die and a 10% chance to live. We took our 10% and prayed for God to allow our child to live. Avery spent 4 months in the neonatal intensive care unit and arrived home in June of last year. During his weeks, he developed severe reflux, had trouble tolerating his feeds, and the list goes on. We were grateful that we found a hypoallergenic formula, and he seemed to be gaining weight well and growing finally. As Avery grew, we needed to add some solid foods, and each week we would try and fail, and this went on for a few months before he was finally able to tolerate solids. We decided an organic diet would be best due to his extreme situation, and after a slow start, he began to eat fruits one by one. When it came to vegetables, he was hard set on not eating them. He would gag, spit it out, and do everything possible to avoid eating them. Through another mom, I came across your product and decided to give it a try. Avery loved the fruits in stage 1, so I decided to try the stage 2 veggies and fruits together. This little boy ate the entire package. I thought it might be beginner's luck, so I've tried a few other flavors over the next few days, only to discover that he will eat veggies and like them. I really appreciate you for creating an organic product with a great variety that I can use for our special situation. I've been telling anyone that will listen about how wonderful your products are, and I realized today that I needed to tell you. This is the part to listen to. Also, due to our extreme situation we're in, I had to give up my job in order to be home to care for Avery, and our financial situation is grim. We are managing to make it, and I was wondering if you had any sort of discounted program where I might be able to obtain your product at a reduced rate. Listen to this. We qualify for the Women, Infant, Children program, but they don't allow for organic food. And I'm not comfortable giving him all those unnecessary additives, nor do I believe he will tolerate them based on his past. I'd really appreciate anything your company can do to help us out so we can continue to provide Avery with the best nutrition possible to ensure his growth and development, respectfully. Okay, ready? This is my response just a few hours later, February 10th, 2011. Dear Amy, thank you for sharing your story with us. Avery is a true miracle and such a beautiful little guy. We are very committed to making our products accessible to all babies, and we believe every baby deserves to be a happy baby. To that end, we are lobbying for WIC to be extended to organics in all states. Your story will help us get there. In the meantime, as we believe we have a long road ahead, we'd like to send you and Avery a gift from the bottom of our hearts as a mother to a son born around the same time. We are touched that we have been able to help his growth and development, and we want to do as much as we can to continue to grow his perfect little body. Warm regards, Shazi. You see those jars? Those are WIC approved. Just note how sometimes someone can reach you and crystallize you around what you're doing and why, and stay true. And this is ironic, because my whole thing was think outside the jar. But this is the format that WIC allows, and there are 7 states now in the country that approve WIC for organics, and a happy family is going to provide some of those products to those parents, because every baby deserves to have the very best food. All right, so what's next for Happy Family? You know, it's pretty amazing to think of what we've done. I didn't mention, but when I first started, organic was only 4% for baby food. Today, 30% of baby food consumed in the US is organic. I didn't mention half of the babies born in the United States are born into the Women, Infant, Children program. That means unless we fight for them, they don't qualify to get organic. What we have done, I think, is start changing the shift, and the shift is happening. We've already purchased 102 million pounds of organic produce to get our business to where it is today. And you know what's next is, it's clear, it's time for us to have a farm. So this is going to be the Happy Family Farm. This picture is actually not our farm. This is Grimway Farms, and that's Pete, the farmer, who we know very well. But I just wanted to use it illustratively. But think solar panels and windmills and regenerative agriculture. Think using it as a place for our teams to come together and remember what we do and why we do it. And think using it as a place to teach children where food comes from, because that's the future of Happy Family and the Happy Farm. And then, what's next for me? And it's kind of funny, because I'm now the chair mom of the board. I stepped down as CEO. I feel like I've done my duty. I've been around the block, and I'm looking at new things. So there have been a number of exciting businesses. Actually, I saw a number of the logos on the last screen we've invested in, so I was proud to see them. a more recent one was Bulletproof. And I'm a huge fan of Dave Asprey. And he asked me, because I made an investment, and he asked me to be on the board. He said, I just have to check your references. So I said, well, check this one. Tell me if this works for you. So I can't help but show it. It's too good.
The creators whose ideas are pioneering new industries, creating new jobs, and unleashing new opportunities for all of us. We celebrate entrepreneurs like Shazi Visram, whose parents came here from Pakistan and Tanzania to give their children a better life. And as the founder, CEO, and chief mom of Happy Family, Shazi is a leader in affordable organic foods for children, which makes Michelle very happy. In just 7 years, she's grown to 58 full-time employees, 75 part-time working moms, and they're on track to hit $100 million in revenue this year. So no wonder she's been called a rock star of the new economy. By the way, every time that they sell one of their products, they contribute to global efforts to end child hunger. So Shazi's not only just an outstanding businesswoman, but also a leader that all of us can emulate.
Yeah, so that was very cool. And thank you. Yeah. I actually got to eat dinner with him afterwards, which was even cooler. But yeah, at this point, there's not an accolade or an award that we or I haven't gotten for this business and for staying true to that mission. And it's nice. I'm proud of all of this stuff. I'm proud that I have financial liberty. But honestly, and I've sold the company, had a nice exit, and I'll always be involved, and I'll always be the founder and the chair mom and the person who cares about my baby. But I'll tell you what I'm most proud of is to bring this mission home in honor of my dad. So this is the Happy Family Children's Village. My dad is no longer with us. And what I realized is have all this money and success is great, but if you can pair joy with success, then you really are the winner. And I was able to do this for him. There's 100 kids that can live there, eat good food, get a good education, and ideally get a chance to go to college, who otherwise wouldn't have had that chance, that opportunity, to possibly move beyond a dirt floor. I don't know, does it bring you back to the beginning of my presentation? But for my dad, it was about creating opportunity for me and my brother. And for me, it's about creating opportunity for others. Okay, so I'm going to end it with this. For those of you in this room who are on this path, I ask you these questions. What is your truck? What is your book? What's your email? How are you going to define yourself as a leader or a business in those moments when your integrity is questioned? Where does your mission lie at the heart of what you do? And then more importantly, who are you? Like, what is your orphanage? Why do you really do this? And so if you know those answers, and you know who you are, and you believe in what you're trying to achieve, and even though everything is not always crystal clear at every moment and there are struggles, but in your heart, if you know you are a lion, then I'm here to help you. So please reach out. And that is it.